Modern feminists are literally the destruction of women's rights. You think you gotta compete with men to be equal? I don't need a man, I'm strong, I make my own money, I'm a boss bitch. That's not true. We are literally single-handedly destroying our feminine superpowers. We gotta learn to embrace who we are and understand that the balance between men and women is what creates real strength. We all have a role to play to make a balanced society. Women are trying to fight and compete with men is like a goldfish trying to fight a shark. It's illogical and biologically impossible. Let's accept our nature and accept our differences. We gotta embrace our softness, our nurturing side, our intuition. If a man knows he's responsible and he doesn't abuse that power, and when a woman truly embraces her qualities, they're a powerhouse. They're absolutely unstoppable. Behind every great man is an even better woman. We all want a strong man. You can deny it all you like, but deep down, this is what every woman wants.
Some feminists really need to learn what real feminism is after they unlearn the fake woke feminism.
My hot take is that feminism is the biggest joke. And before you come at me, just hear me out. Before feminism, families were united. Men and women were united. They understood each other. They took care of each other. They knew how each other worked. They knew what the other person needed. And families were actually built upon loyalty, trust, and connection. Nowadays, women are told you can be independent. You don't need to have a family. You don't need a man. And the result is women are miserable because they are living a life that is not true to them. That is not something they were naturally born to do. And men are miserable because they have to choose between being single or being with a woman who never appreciates them, never respects them, and doesn't love them in the way that they need. The fact that we think feminism actually helped our society, yes, maybe it helped some women who were being abused or who were actually in devastating relationships, but for the most part, it caused a lot more destruction than it did good to our society in general. You can try and prove me wrong, but look at the statistics.
It did great for the ones that pushed it, like the government. They only wanted to double their tax revenue.
Ladies, I know some of y'all just can't wrap your mind around that feminism is the reason for your burnout. Listen up. Yeah, I know. 30 years ago, a family of 4 or 5 could live off of one income comfortably. So let's backtrack. Feminism told women you need independence. You need a career. You need to prove yourself outside of your home. So think about it. Labor supply doubled. Wages kind of stagnated. Meanwhile, the cost of living just shot up. So employers didn't have to pay a single man because it was so common for both people to work now because of feminism. And then everything inflated because society got used to people having 2 incomes. Then women told other women that it was oppressive to be a stay-at-home full-time mother and that you needed to go climb the corporate ladder, you baddie boss babe. So ladies, we fed into the lie. Not only do we have the mother duties and the home duties, we now have a 40-hour work week on top of that. So realistically, what happens from this? You end up being exhausted, stressed, burned out, anxious, depressed. What do some people resort to? Medication. And what happens? The cycle just keeps continuing. And then marriages fail. The family crumbles. So walking away from God's design, this is what we've got.
Buckle up, y'all. I'm gonna make somebody not happy say that. Who is contributing to the biggest downfall of this country? Are you ready? I don't think you're ready. It's freaking women. It's freaking women. And you're probably saying to yourself right about now, well, Christina, you're a woman. You're right, I am. And that statement doesn't even offend me, that women are the biggest downfall in our society. So let me explain. The entire feminist movement has literally turned women against men. We want to be treated equal like men. We want to get all the same things that men do. We don't want to be seen as different. We want to say that we can do anything a man can do. But the problem is, you can't do everything a man can do, just like a man can't do everything that you can do. So we're constantly in this pissing battle of who is better, who's more superior, who's better in the workplace, who can make more money, who does the parenting roles better. And when a woman tries so hard to be the masculine when she's supposed to be feminine, you now have disrupted the way it's supposed to be. Marriages are going down the toilet because of feminism. It's not just that, but that's a huge contributing factor. Women are trying to take over the roles that men are set to have, and therefore trying to prove themselves to be better, more superior, I don't need no man. I'm strong and independent. I don't need a man to help me. I don't need any of these things from a man. It's all woman power, empowerment. Now, don't get it twisted. I do believe women should be strong, independent, and be empowered, but not in a pissing competition against men. By you trying to assume that masculine role, you're offsetting the balance in your marriage. You're taking on the role that he's supposed to have, while now, because you're taking on the masculine, you're feminizing him. And the other downfall of this world is feminized men. There's a reason we were created the way we were created, but everybody keeps trying to change up what God's original intention was and what he had in place. Now, the other funny thing is, the women who get upset that I said this are the ones exactly who I'm talking about. The women who agree with what I'm saying, those are the women who are the true women of this society, that what we need to get back to. Husbands, men, they're not our enemies. We have to stop treating them like they are. Women are so hyper-focused on demonizing men, pointing out their flaws and what they do wrong, instead of taking accountability for what they are doing. So now you have the roles reversed, lack of accountability, selfishness. It's a disaster. But the women may be the downfall, but they're not the cause.
Feminism has overtaken this society and causes women to feel that they have to be better than men to prove something. Well, joke's on them now.
Feminism sold us the biggest scam of our generation. They told us we were empowered, but what did we actually get? Burnout, debt, stress, a double life where we work like men and still carry the entire home on our backs. And here's the truth nobody's talking about. Feminism didn't set women free. It trapped us in a masculine system that we were never designed for. They told us to compete with men, to lead like men, to talk, think, act like men, and now we're exhausted, we're disconnected, resentful, and wondering why nothing feels right. We don't need more feminism. We need to reclaim the femininity that was stolen from us, because that's where a woman's real power has always been. In softness, in harmony, emotional intelligence, intuition, influence, not in becoming a copy of the men we were created to complement. If you want to break free from this conditioning and learn how to step back into your feminine design, the design that brings peace, love, protection, and real freedom.
The word empowered by definition means someone is empowering you. And if women are being empowered, then who is empowering them if not men?
I'm 30 and I'm single, and something that I quickly had to learn while dating at my 30s is that 30 or plus year old men would much rather date women that are on their early 20s than women that are 30 or plus years old. And I think the reason for that is because when you turn 30, you hit this wall where you don't take the same shit that you used to take while you were in your 20s. For example, when I was at my 20s, a guy would say, yeah, you know, like, I just need time. I cannot be in a serious relationship with you right now. And I would go for it and I would entertain this man. If a man comes today and says, hey, I'm not ready for a serious relationship, it's like, babe, you're 30. The hairline is going back. Like, what else do you need time for? So I quickly had to realize that I'm probably gonna be spending a lot of time single, and I have to be okay with it because I cannot go back to my 20s. I also don't want to. I love being 30 and the maturity and consciousness that I have now.
So I just came from a first date, and I'm just gonna sum it up. It went well, right? But how he ended the date is just like, it's not much, but I love food. So this just really spoke to me. So as we were saying goodbye, he was like, did you enjoy your food? And I was like, yes, I did. I'm going to be hungry in an hour, though. And he's like, okay, I'll send you some food to your house so you won't have to spend your own money. Helping me save money on food already, and you putting food in my belly? That's a love language for me in its own. I'm already in love. So I just came from date number 2, and it just keep getting better. And then he ghosted me.
Listen, here's the thing. If you become a divorced mother in your mid to late 30s, I want you to recognize that you are going to witness other women who are similar to you, who are snagging the young bucks, okay? They are robbing the cradle. They're getting the guys who were barely alive when 9/11 happened. And that's all fine and dandy. But I'm here to tell you, as one of those bitches, that it's not all that it's chalked up to be, okay? It's actually not all that great. I mean, my family is harassing me left and right, asking what I'm doing, wondering why I look so old standing next to this little baby boy. I mean, I got humbled real quick this morning when my mom called and said that she made me an appointment to get Botox so I don't look so old next to him. This is just the reality, ladies, okay? And I don't feel like I even look that old for my age. But listen, when it looks like you could be nursing your son and your new man at the same time, this is a problem. This is a problem, and it's become a problem for me.
So I made the decision to start dating again. People actually being asked on dates? Because I feel like there's lots of pen pals, but no, like, invites? Like, is that the way to put it? So help me out here. Are people actually going on dates or being asked out? Like, what's going on?
I want to talk about being single and wanting to be loved. I'm currently on a trip on my own in Costa Rica, and something really amazing happened to me today. I'm coming towards the end of my trip and I'm getting a little bit in my feels, and I made a video, it's a couple of videos back, talking about rejection and the fact that I started this year experiencing lots of different rejections, both personally and professionally. Some of those were, of course, in the world of dating, and it just made me think, God, is this ever going to happen for me? Now, I talk a lot about being single and being happy, and I think that no one is perpetually happy. No one is happy 100% of the time. It's just not possible. However, in general, I'm incredibly happy because I just don't want to settle. I know the kind of relationship that I want, and so I'm willing to hold out for that relationship. However, there are days where I'm just like, oh, I would really like to start that journey now. I would really like to start that journey with somebody. And today was one of those days. I woke up and I was feeling, a little bit kind of like emotional and a little bit like, I don't know if this is ever going to happen. And then all of those kind of old thoughts and patterns come up for me, like, what's wrong with me? Why does no one want me? Boo-hoo. But I recognize now, and I'm very aware, self-aware, that those are just thoughts and they're not actually a reality. So I choose not to buy into them because now I have that choice. So anyway, I took myself to breakfast because I was like, I need to eat something. I took my journal. I'm like, I'm going to just journal this all out and I'm going to feel so much better. And as I was sitting down to have my breakfast with my journal, my holiday friends that I made on a trip yesterday came down for breakfast, and they were leaving this morning, and I was so happy to see them because I thought they'd already left. And I don't know if you believe in coincidences or serendipity or the universe or whatever, but I certainly do. And one of the women, Ro, started telling me a story about how she'd been single for 14 years, and then she has now met this incredible man and she's in love. She's just turned 39. They've been together for like the last year or so. And she also told me that her mum didn't meet her now husband of 15 years until she was 43. She didn't meet the love of her life until she was 43. I'm of the belief that we definitely have more than one love of our life or one soulmate. I think there are many, many people, and I think for the different versions of us that we are, there are many different junctions that we can take. But when I heard her tell this story, it just filled my heart with so much joy, and I was just like, that's the hope and faith. That's the hope and faith, because the person that I'm going to be with exists, they're alive, living their life somewhere, and when the time is right, I'm going to meet them. And that was the message that I needed to be reminded of, and that was the message that I got this morning. So whether you're male, female, if you're single and you do want a relationship, some people don't, and that's absolutely fine, and sometimes you find yourself kind of losing hope, I think it's really, really important to remember that timing is everything. Enjoy your life right now, and when you're meant to meet that person, you will. And yeah, I truly believe that's going to happen, and when it does, I'll be sharing it with all of you. Thanks guys, love ya.
Why do they realize this too late? In their 20s, they think they will forever be young.
Here's how feminism messed up the US economy and how it's actually now come back to bite modern women in the butt. Let's rewind. The modern feminist movement kicked off in the 1960s. The goal was fair wages, equal opportunities, and legal protection. Great, right? They told us that the first wave gave us the right to vote, and the second wave brought us into the workforce. Here's where it gets a little bit sticky. During the second wave, the message shifted. It wasn't just, you can work outside the home. It became, you should. Or you must if you want to be respected. Doing nothing but staying home and cooking and cleaning and raising children, that was suddenly less than. So women flooded the workforce around this time. They were told they would get more financial freedom, more independence, and of course, more respect. But when millions of women started working full-time, it didn't just change individual families, it changed the entire economy. Suddenly, 2 incomes weren't just nice, they were expected, and that's where we get into the 2-income trap. This is a book written by Elizabeth Warren, who is not exactly a conservative voice, but she actually articulates this situation beautifully in her book, The 2-Income Trap. She argues that when both parents started working, the cost of living adjusted. Homes in good school districts, prices went up. Childcare, through the roof. Everything from health insurance to groceries inflated to match dual income spending power. So now we've created this world where it takes 2 full-time incomes to just be able to afford the same lifestyle one income covered in 1960. Feminism told women and even sold them the idea that they were breaking free. But for a lot of women, especially moms, it feels more like a trap. Because now the choice to stay home with your kids isn't even on the table for many families. So many women would love to be able to be homemakers and clean the house and cook and take care of their kids, and they can't. Because what used to be a respected and even honored role of homemaker, caregiver, mother got dismissed. Feminism lied to us and told us that success only looked like climbing the corporate ladder and competing with men. But we traded in something priceless: time with our children, peace in our own homes, and even financial flexibility. So while women were told you should do it all, what we ended up with is exhaustion, rising debt, and a system that only works if you're always working outside your house. The very movement that claimed to be liberating women made it nearly impossible to live on one income. And I'm sorry, but that is not empowering. Turns out that there's a real price to pay when a society stops valuing motherhood. When caregiving is treated as invisible labor and homemakers are seen as less than, everybody actually loses, especially women. Not just emotionally or in the family structure, we could talk about that forever, but economically as well. So no, I'm sorry, feminism didn't save women. It told us we need to do it all, and now our generation is paying the price for it.
This was a complete manipulation by the government, and women were dumb enough to fall for it.
You know what's wild is when feminism told women that they don't need men, it wasn't to make women more free. It was to make them dependent on the state instead of their husband. Think about it for a second. Before the 1960s, family was the safety net. If something went wrong, you had a husband, a father, a brother, a community, a church, a safety net. The people took care of each other. They cared about each other. Then came no-fault divorce in 1969. Suddenly, marriage wasn't a covenant. It was a contract that you could walk away from. Okay, and get this. And when the families started falling apart, who stepped in? The government. Welfare replaced the husband, the system replaced the father, and schools, they replaced the home. Women were told that this is freedom, that being alone, raising kids by yourself, and relying on checks from the government made you strong. But what it really did was break the structure that once protected us. It separated women from men from their families, and children from both. The state became the new husband that offers no love, no legacy, no protection, just control, dependency, and paperwork. And now, generations later, you have women exhausted, men disengaged, and children who grow up not knowing what family feels like. That wasn't progress, that was replacement.
Isn't it so crazy that feminism does the exact opposite of empowering women? It is not giving you freedom, it is actually silencing you. It has convinced women that sexualization is freedom, that selling their bodies online is freedom, that having multiple partners is freedom. But what this actually does is exploit you and enslave you. It's funny how feminism actually just gave the worst type of men exactly what they wanted. I mean, having as much emotionless sex as possible, OnlyFans, running around half naked, killing their babies, men and women's sports. How does that equal female empowerment? Not to mention you're warding off all of the good men. I mean, you guys say over and over how much you hate men when you are literally doing the things that please the worst type of men. If you were focused more on traditional femininity, on having one partner, on getting married, on having kids, on building a family unit, I promise you would attract really good men into your life, and therefore you wouldn't hate all men. And every time I say things like this, I get told that I'm tearing down other women. No, the reason that I post what I post is because I actually care about other women and their well-being. You can take it or leave it. But if I were to just let you exploit yourself and enslave yourself to what I would consider a cult, I mean, take Bonnie Blue, for example, that would be me not caring about you.
But modern women aren't ready for this type of conversation.
Feminism is great for promiscuous men.
Feminism has made business boom promiscuous men.
But ultimately, when women are promiscuous, they're devaluing themselves. You're saying, my body is not valuable. It's for everybody to see. Whenever you dress promiscuously or if you sell your body online, you're saying, My body is a cheap commodity that you can get for free or for just a few bucks.
Many women are willing to give up sex without commitment. Most young women today are willing to have sex with men without any commitment involved whatsoever. And so if you give a man sex, which is what he wants, without any sort of a commitment, that subconsciously signals to those men, you can have the thing that you want from me without any commitment to me.
Well, men that want real companionship suffer the most and are done now.
Hey, let's debunk 4 lies the modern feminist movement has told women. Number 1, women don't need men. It started in the 60s with the phrase, a woman needs a man like a fish needs a bicycle. Which biologically, women are wired to depend on men, and men are wired to actually depend on women too. So God didn't get it wrong when he created 2 sexes, male and female. Men are here to provide and protect, and women thrive under that strength. With number 2, men and women are the same. When women started having casual sex to compete with men who were using them, they were told that they could handle it, but they couldn't. Why? Because women are not built to separate sex from emotion. That doesn't go to say that men should be sleeping around, because that's not God's design either. But women are flaunting their body count as if it's something to be proud of, when actually there's pain there that nobody wants to commit to. Men and women were designed to complement each other, not compete against each other. Number 3, the biological clock isn't real. It is. Women are designed to procreate for a set amount of time. And when that time is up, it gets harder to nearly impossible. But culture wants to tell women to delay marriage and prioritize a career. So when she's finally ready, it's often too late, which leads me to my final point, which is a career is more meaningful than marriage and children, which is the biggest lie of all, because work doesn't love you back. Work doesn't build a personal legacy that will outlive you, and won't sit at your bedside when you're sick or hold your hand on your deathbed, and won't tell stories of how you impacted their life. There's no promotion that's going to fill the emptiness of going to bed alone or walking into an empty house. So flip your priorities, and maybe you're going to find what you're searching for all along is God's design, which is marriage and motherhood.
You see these 65-year-old women videos going viral where they say, I walked with the feminist. I bought into the argument of being a feminist. Man was an enemy in my life. I'm 65 years old. I've never been married. I have no kids. I will never be able to experience what it is to be married to a man when I was in my 20s. The concept of feminism stole that away from me. Just because I looked at man as the enemy, and he's not.
Wait until you find out that feminism wasn't actually about equality, but about getting both parents out of the home, doubling tax revenue, and letting the government raise your children instead of you. Unfortunately, the message of feminism has really been blurred. Of course, I agree with the original feminists saying that they want equality, but unfortunately that has kind of turned into sameness instead of actual true equality. It is almost virtually impossible for a woman to choose to stay home or for a family to survive off of one income. And it's all because instead of promoting this idea of equality that women should be treated as equals, we have promoted this idea that women should be treated the same as men, and that is not the same thing. Now, because our society and culture has accepted this idea of sameness, that men and women are the same instead of equals, our government, our culture, our society treats women like men, and we wonder why we are treated like absolute crap. There's no maternity leave, there's no benefits, people treat pregnant women horribly, people treat women in general horribly, people treat children horribly, and it's all because of these ideals. Modern feminism has really just turned into this beast that has bit women in the butt, and we are suffering because of it.
Instead of valuing women as they are, it turned into women's value being centered around how well they can mimic a man.
We are creating a society that women are not happy in. Right? We've suddenly allowed radical feminists to convince us that we should want to be just like men, that we should want to climb the corporate ladder, that we should not aspire to having kids. We routinely cover that sort of a conversation that's happening across various podcasts where they're making it seem like the aspiration to want to stay at home is something that should be frowned upon. So I'll ask the question, what is the value of a woman today? What is sacred about having a woman? If you're a man and you're looking and you're saying, I want to marry somebody, what are the attributes that you should be looking for? Are we offering that anymore? We now exist in hooker culture, right? The sex is free. It's promiscuous. We want to put our bodies on the internet. We say that somehow renders us more free, which in my personal opinion, actually, I think it's bondage. When the only way that you can get attention and the only way that you can get people to look at you is by taking off your clothes, it's because you have no substance.
Why would I be a feminist when I can just be feminine? Feminist ideology tries to convince women that relying on men is wrong. Bring down the patriarchy. And women actually benefit the most from this patriarchy. Let's let the men lead. Let's let the men go to war, do the tough jobs, work 80 hours a week, And let the ladies get her nails done, learn to cook, learn to sew. There's no pride in being Miss Independent. It's important for everyone, man and woman, to be able to be independent and take care of themselves. But you don't win a trophy because you didn't rely on a man. The feminist ideology is the opposite of femininity. The happiest women I know are in relationships with men. And the most bitter people I know are single girls who are feminists. Any ideology that breeds contempt for an entire race, aka the male race, is not beneficial for you. The feminist ideology tells women to take charge, which literally doesn't let men act as they should, being masculine and manly and leading. So I'm honestly not surprised that a lot of these feminists have had bad experience with men because they probably kneecapped every single thing that made that man masculine. So this is your sign to ditch the feminist movement and embrace femininity instead.
This is all there is to be said at the end. Women need to wake up and leave this narrative. And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal, link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.